Hi, I'm Maureen Kiley, and I'm the founder of the South Shore Local Directory, which is a small group of businesses, 270 of us or so, that are actually coming together in a community hub to help residents understand local businesses that that they can look up and find out about. Because what we found in a study is that a lot of residents don't trust Google reviews and they don't know who to find. And we're in a very much of a growing area, and it's kind of a passion project that I have. Is that when I moved here 5 years ago, I didn't know a soul, and it was very frustrating to find even restaurants because in Florida, it's really weird, the strip malls and all these things. So I'm here today to interview one of the local businesses, and it's Jill DeSudo is on with me, and I'm super honored to take some time out of your busy day to get on here and do an interview with us. And your uh, business is Beach,
Just beach and vacations,
Just Beach and Vacations.
but I do
Okay,
more than that.
yeah, and I'm going to let everybody know that you do that. And so Jill and I met at a networking group, and I really thought what you're doing is fun. And you were like, you talked a little bit about what you do and how you do a lot of different things. And I think the first thing I think people would want to know is just tell us a little bit about yourself, Jill. Like your background, where you're from, because like I just said, I came from, I'm originally from the Northeast, but I came from California 5 years ago. So, everybody doesn't seem to be necessarily a Floridian, although I've met a few.
Right,
So,
right.
okay. So why don't I let you talk and tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. So I grew up actually in North Dakota. Yes, there are people that live there, and you have now you know somebody from North Dakota. I grew up there, and I was a farmer's daughter, and my mother always said like, "Don't get stuck here." It was so cold there. But she was like, "Don't get stuck in North Dakota. You're not meant to be a farmer's wife. You need to go travel. You need to go do things." And she just kind of pushed me. So I randomly applied for a nanny position in Rhode Island. So off I went to Rhode Island. So then in Rhode Island is where I met my husband. And right after we met, a year later we got married. We got married in North Dakota. We lived there for a few years in Minnesota. And in Minnesota is when I applied for a job to be a travel agent. And I was hired through Carlson Vaughanley. And then I went to another agency after that. But when I started there, I had no knowledge. It was back when we had to write airline tickets. Everything was coded. Internet was just kind of starting to blow up where people would check prices on the internet. But it was hard to compare apples to apples because everything on my end I had to do as a code into the system. And then my husband ended up getting a job back out in Rhode Island. So I pushed him to do that. I didn't want to stay in the Midwest. So we went back to Rhode Island, and we had two kids in Minnesota and one in Rhode Island. So we've been married almost 33 years, and we have three adult children. But when I started as a travel agent back in Minnesota, the one owner, she pulled me aside, and because I said, why would you want to hire me? I know nothing. I didn't go to school for this back when you had travel agent courses. And she was like, well, I started that way. I didn't go to college, and I didn't, she's like, I went, and I'm a hands-on learner, and I think you are too. So she really mentored me and put me through classes that I needed. So there started out with mostly all-inclusive resorts. So people in the Midwest, I never went on a cruise. Like, it was just more about traveling across country or all-inclusive resorts. So I moved back to Rhode Island, and I took a break from being a travel agent because in Rhode Island they used a totally different system, and now I had two kids. So I decided just to step back, and I did other things from being a librarian. I was a hotel manager once upon a time too, a lot of hospitality. And then we moved to Florida back in 2018, and probably our second year in, I met a few people through networking that were travel agents. And a couple of them asked me to go on with them because I said, oh, I used to be a travel agent. I loved it. It was so great to be one. And one of my friends really pushed me, and she's like, come join me, come join me. So I was like, oh, what do I do? I had a different job. And the kicker was I was in my room and my old business card floated to the ground. And I said, oh, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be a travel agent again. So right then and there, I signed up with my friend who owns Just Beachin Vacations. And I've been doing that since. But one of the first things I did going back to it was I'd never been on a cruise. I get very motion sick, but I said, living in Florida, so many people cruise. I said, how can I sell it if I don't go on a cruise? So I did. I took one for the team and I went on a cruise. And since then, I do a lot of cruises. I've been on a lot of cruises. My host agency, we do a business cruise once a year. So at least once a year I'm on a cruise ship, but I try to do different cruises and whatnot, cruise lines and whatnot. And I've been to Europe. I do a lot of Europe selling too.
Okay. All right. So let's break this down for people.
Okay.
You know, being back then, and I had a travel agent when I was in my 20s, and she was amazing. And she knew me, right? And one of the things with today going online, there's so much about travel, right? But how do you get through all the weeds, right? And when I had that travel agent in my 20s, I got thinking about how much she knew me and what I liked and and she'd say, oh, Maureen, this would be the best trip for you. And I was more about local, right? I didn't like tourist traps, and I still don't to this day. And I love going and experiencing what a local would experience. So tell people who are watching this, like, how is it that, it works today in travel? Like, because a lot of people go online, but, because they thought, oh, we've got all these online platforms. How do I use a travel agent? Like, how do you explain why someone would want to use one?
Okay, so first of all, we're not in Florida. We're not allowed to charge a planning fee. So people should know right off the bat that I am not charging you a dime. So I'm paid through commissions. So once you travel, I get paid, and it doesn't matter if you book online yourself or if you use a travel agent. Commission's already built in. It's just a matter of where it's going to go. But when you use a travel agent, like personally myself, I try to attend as many learning education programs and meetings that I can. So I'll go to Orlando and I will speak to, somebody from Celtic Tours or Royal Caribbean. So I try to do as much continuing education as I can so I can help my clients better and keep up with the current stuff. And as far as pricing is, like I said, it's already built in. And we just, how do I explain it? So when you call me up, you tell me what you're interested in. And I usually come up with like 3 different options to start with. Again, no planning fees, so you're not tied to me, but I would hope people support local businesses because personally, I put in a lot of time when I am researching because I want to do and know the most I can for my clients. And if something goes awry, then you can call me and I will sit on the phone for hours if need be. Let's say there's a hurricane coming or something and you're worried and you want to cancel. Well, everybody's calling. But instead of you getting on the line and having to wait longer than I do, I will sit on the phone and hold and take care of things on my end where you don't have to stress about it. I'll take care of it.
Okay, so like for example, if somebody like say went online and they booked a cruise direct through the cruise line, and then there's some big thing happening in the Caribbean and the person doesn't want to necessarily go on that cruise, they have to call the cruise line directly, correct? And then they have to wait in line
Yep.
to get somebody.
Yes.
Whereas, do you guys have a special line as
We do.
travel agents?
We do. They usually when you call it asks if you're a travel partner. So that bumps us up. Plus, I do so many events. I try to go to so many events in continuing education that I know a lot of my BDMs, let's say for Royal Caribbean. I consider myself good friends with the person at Royal Caribbean. So if anything ever, I can just pick up the phone and call, and she'll help me out in a heartbeat. So if I can't get through to somebody else, I do have personal people that I know, right-handed, that I can call and reach out and get some help on that end of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, because sometimes when you call companies, and I'm not just talking travel, it's a nightmare sometimes getting through to a person to actually get results,
And
right?
to know the right questions to ask.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about like what's your favorite thing? What are you gravitating for so people watching this can get excited about like some of the things that are going on in travel? Like what are some packages or some things or that they can be inspired to maybe call you?
Oh, there's so many. Cruise packages, definitely. Cruises are always on sale. And we're lucky living in Florida that we have access to so many cruise lines. And, if you don't want to go to Miami and get on one of the bigger ships, we have Tampa. Tampa has so many cruises. And they always have deals. Sandals put out a deal every Wednesday. And a lot of times, like with cruises, if you go on the consumer site, let's say for Royal Caribbean, and you want a balcony cabin, and it says, okay, it's going to be this price, I can go on the travel agent site and I can see within that category different levels of that category at different prices. So if you have a limited view or a bigger balcony, whatever, there's so many different levels that regular consumers don't see. So we get the behind the looks. Plus, my host company is really great. In our consortia, they save a lot of cabins. They put a lot of cabins aside for us to use to sell at a lower cost. So a lot of times we can grab those up, or we can, look to see the price difference and offer different things, or onboard credit, or anything like that. I mean, I've sold, besides cruises, a lot of all-inclusives, of course, and I have sold Antarctica, so an expedition cruise. Um, right now, what's big is a lot of Europe. Portugal is the big one there. River cruises, which I love river cruises. That's my favorite. Personally, my favorite way to go is the European river cruises. But I've also sold Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti. So I'm well rounded with those kind of things. And, you don't know unless you reach out to a travel agent on how much knowledge. So, I mean, you call and all we can do is quote you and see if you want to go with me or not. You're not tied to me, but I appreciate every business I get. And I have clients from all over. People find me, one gentleman here in my local area, he said he asked Alexa about a local travel agent that specialized in whatever, and he's like, and then I found you, and I was like, okay, that's a first for me. Alexa told him about me. Okay. Ooh, this world today is so different, so different.
Well, also AI is going to change that too. So it's no longer Google anymore. It's all the AI engines out there promoting, and that's what we're doing with our group of 270 businesses.
But
So
with
this
that
is
being
going to be
said, too,
exciting.
though, that with AI and stuff, you can't trust everything on there.
No, you
So,
can't.
right. So if you're looking to go to, I don't know, New York City, and you ask AI the best hotel located at this price, da da da, it can build it up, but it's not gonna look into, it won't do the extra research it takes for, is it truly a good location? What are other clients saying about it? Reading the reviews and going through, and right now too, Facebook, there's so many Facebook groups out there. And for us travel agents, we have where I can go in and ask a certain property, and agents will let me know if it's a good property or not. Do you think somebody that's looking for friendly vacation, if this hotel would work for that? So we have a lot of support. We support each other, definitely.
Oh, no. And I want you to be clear. I'm not talking about AI for people to go look about travel. I'm talking about you can train AI to know, like that guy, you somehow came up in Alexa.
Mhm.
So that's what we're doing is training AI to recognize our local businesses
Right,
so
right,
that
right, right.
people can know. And so I want to make sure we're clear.
No, no, I
Uh,
knew that. No, that's, I
yeah.
mean, that's why I reached
Okay.
out to you. This is the way I want to go.
Yeah.
But now
Well, and
people
I
just
just
start their
think
own.
for so many years, let's talk about like, do you only do packages or do you do like planned travel? Like if somebody wanted to do something, like let's just say they wanted to go to Argentina, okay, and where to go in Argentina and all
Mhm.
that. Do you put the whole thing together?
Yes, definitely. There's suppliers out there, and we have a lot of suppliers that only sell to travel agents. Consumers don't have access to a lot of them. So I can,
Really?
yep, oh yeah, definitely. So I can reach out to certain suppliers and say, okay, I fill out a form or I email them and tell them what my clients want, and to include like transfers or include the train ride from point A to point B. They can make up wherever they want to go. I can get it all set up and any tickets they want to see. So if they want to go see the Vatican or they want to go into the Colosseum in Italy, then we can arrange that. And it will also include tickets and stuff if that's what they want to include. So we can go from a basic, get me here from point A to point B, or elaborate. I can work with tour group companies, so the ones that where you get on a bus and go. And myself, I'm intrigued to do that because people love it, and I think it's so cool because when you're going with a tour company, they know what they're doing too. There's an Italian company, which I know him personally. So he does behind the scenes. So he will take clients and take them to his favorite local restaurant. So he's not just doing the main stuff, but he'll do the extra special and like, oh yeah, you don't want to go get food here because everybody goes there, but it's better at this place. So we have access to that, which I love doing that part of it.
I love that. That's cool.
So we can do as
I
much
think there's a
or as
lot of
little.
people that like that too.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I know, like, so for a lot of people traveling, right, it can be overwhelming, especially if it's a long trip.
Hmm.
And it's good to have someone like you have their back because if you're stuck and you book your ticket on Expedia, you got to deal with I never book anything on there. On any, I mean, I do direct with the airline
Right.
because, I have miles and probably a lot of people do that. But if you're doing an exclusive deal or you're putting a whole itinerary together or you're wanting to tour a country, I think that would be a blessing to have that. I didn't even know that you had some suppliers don't work with individuals or only travel agents. So that's interesting.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is it like tours? Like if you were going to go to like on a just a you want to go to certain places in a city? Is that what the suppliers are?
Well,
Or
you can do it where you pick the places you want to go, or you can pick something that's already pre-planned. So it's
okay,
they negotiate the prices for the hotels. They negotiate prices for everything, and they come back with a quote for me. I give them the range and what these people are interested in, and they'll come up and because they know the ins and outs and they know what trains and they live there, so it's they know how to arrange it perfectly. And
okay,
they're so fun because you can do it just as simple or have it include the tickets and doing this and that. So as little
okay.
or as big as you want.
So let me ask you, what is really hot right now? Like, what are people doing, or what is the industry promoting?
Lately, I have been doing a lot of Europe, like I said. Um, and I posted about like my personal trip on a river cruise. And Australia is a big one right now. People are looking at Australia. And then the ABC Islands, the islands that are in the hurricane belt where they're not going to get hit with hurricanes, so they're safe places to go. So a lot of them do the
Okay,
ABC Islands and whatnot.
what's the ABC Islands?
That is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. They're not in the hurricane belt.
Right,
That's
right.
correct.
So people,
Yeah.
if they get scared and they're worried, and also travel insurance is so important too.
Oh, tell us about that.
I just went to a meeting with somebody last week. Uh, that just helps. You can have travel insurance as little or as big as you want, same as your trip. So it's based on, now I'm not trained as a travel insurance agent, but just going in and listening, they have different plans. You can compare plans, compare what they cost and what you want and what you need. So there's ones where you can throw in a pet clause. So if something happens to your pet while you're on your trip and you want to go home, you're covered under that. Or you're covered with the cancel for any reason. That's a big one. That's a big
Oh, well, I always thought there was always some hidden clause in those things, and I think a lot of people do. So why do you say
You can
it's
add that.
important?
You can add that.
Yeah.
Cancel for any reason. Because face it, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You know.
Yeah.
And I mean there's a lot of them too that include, like, let's say you get airlifted out. Well, that's a lot of money. So it's nice to have the insurance that helps cover all that stuff. And when I
Okay.
send a quote, I'm comparing different packages of travel insurance. So the clients can see, because everybody's different. I mean, not all of
Right.
us have elderly parents. I mean, my husband and I, our parents are all gone. So that's something I don't have to worry about. But other people might be like, well, let's just in case. So it's just individualized per person on what they need covered or what
That's
pertains to
interesting.
them.
So let me ask you a question about the Airbnb industry, okay, and travel. I'm curious, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious. Like, say I wanted to do a trip and it's a blend of something like a touring trip or whatever. Do travel agents work with Airbnbs or equivalent type of stays? Like, say I say to you, I want to spend a week in Paris, but I don't really. Does anyone ever ask you about that?
Oh yes. Oh, definitely, definitely. There's a few different suppliers that only work with travel agents that offer the homes like that everywhere, everywhere.
Everywhere. It's kind of risky sometimes with Airbnb and VRBO. You do not know what you're getting.
Right.
So, I mean, that's something to consider in travel. So, what about events? Like, what if somebody was planning a family thing, right? Do you do any of those or weddings or destination weddings?
I don't necessarily do destination weddings. I think that takes a lot of experience.
Okay.
And you would, as a bride, you don't want someone that's doesn't have much experience with it, honestly. So I myself would probably send them to somebody else that does specialize in that kind of thing. You know, we can work
Okay.
things out. But there are so many out there that do that. And there's so many travel agents out there, and you know, we all support each other. I work
Okay.
with other agents that are or agents that are in a different company than myself, and I'll be like, hey, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. I want to see my friends and to succeed. I don't wish them bad because they're a travel agent and like, oh, I like to go in and make sure, you know, any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Well, there's plenty of people out there in the world. And that's important to know that if you don't have or you don't do that particular thing, you've got a nice network of people that you trust
Right.
that can help your clients that you couldn't help them with.
Right.
And that's good.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, you know, when somebody else is on my team, she specializes Disney, and I've done the courses with Disney and stuff, but she knows it like the back of her hand. So if anybody reaches out for me for Disney, I'll be like, oh, here, reach out to her. She can answer every question. She knows everything about it. Where, you know, I'd have to do a little bit more research. I mean, I could do it, but I help another agent out that knows it, you know, and they'd have a better experience.
so you said your favorite was river cruises right now. So tell me a little bit about that. So just tell everybody that, what's your favorite? What do you love about it?
So I was offered to go, and again, to clarify too, we don't get free trips. We have to pay our way too. Sometimes we get discounts, but we don't get to travel for free. That's not one of the things. You see us traveling, we pay for it, the same as you. We may get a little discount, but not necessarily. So
Okay.
for doing some training, I got offered to go on a river cruise, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fabulous. So I was worried because I've never been on one. I've sold them. I have clients that are diehard river cruise people. So, they book with me all the time. That's easy for me just to book a river cruise. But to experience it was a whole other level. So we did the pre-cruise and afterwards we ended up in Amsterdam, but then we extended our trip and went to Portugal for a few nights. So you can do those kind of things. So Europe, I just found, yeah, you go visit each of these cities and it's amazing. And the Christmas markets are supposed to be spectacular. It's the same, when we went, they were setting up for the Christmas markets. So we got to see a little bit of it. But to do a river cruise, it was just, again, I get motion sick. So, river
Still
cruise,
even on a river?
not on a river. So that's why that's one of the things why I love it so much is I feel good on it. I don't
Well,
have
and there's a lot of people that get sick on ships, so this is a great thing to tell people is that you don't get necessarily sick on the river.
no, no. And the people, it's so quaint. It's not
Yeah.
like 10 people, but it's just more of a laid back, quaint atmosphere. It's not, you can go off the ship or off the boat, the river cruise, and you can go party it up, whatever, or most people don't. There's no children on these. So you can just sit and relax and have adult conversation with other adults,
I love that.
with like-mindedness, like talk about you're traveling together. So you get to talk about that and boy, I walked away with so many friends when I went. My husband and I, we had so many friends after that. It was such an experience and to go into this part of Germany and we were in Milan. So we were in Milan and then for the Olympics, I'm like, oh, we were standing right there. Oh, look, we were right there. So to experience it like that was amazing.
So on the river, I mean, how many different river cruise companies are there? I mean, I know about Viking because my friends go on Viking.
Viking.
So you
And they
Viking?
advertise. You don't see a lot of them advertise.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean, there's Ama Waterways, there's Tauk, oh boy, there's just so many.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
you go on Viking
No, I went on Avalon actually.
and you liked it? Okay.
Because it's
Awesome.
panoramic. You open up your curtains and it's like, oh, you're right there. You can look right into town. It's quite the experience.
All right. Well, with that take, I'm going to say everybody needs to take a river cruise with Jill. So you'll have to plan something with the South Shore group here that we all do a river cruise.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
So,
know. Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be so much
yeah.
fun.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. It's been a pleasure and it's been a learning experience
Well, I
because
appreciate you for doing
and I
this.
think I think everybody's going to love this, and we're just going to be really talking it about. Don't book it yourself; book it through Jill.
Definitely, of course.
Okay. All right.